Alright guys, welcome back on board for another late night stream of UBOAT. The World oops, sorry. The World War II submarine simulation. So we are being heavily hunted at the moment. Yeah, in the last stream, last night, we actually located a large convoy, but the escort was very aware, and we were discovered early while we tried to infiltrate into the convoy. We still fired 3 torpedoes. One was a hit, one was a dud, so it was a hit and a dud, and the third a miss. And so then we quickly had to dive away from loads of escorts. And now we have them on the tail, and at the moment... Oh shit. So that's risky. We are not moving at all. Completed silent run, engine stopped. And right now there is an escort passing above us. Fingers crossed that it's just by chance and that they don't know that we are right underneath them. We don't hear any depth charges being dropped. That's good. We have a bit of water in the bilge, but uncritical. Air quality is still at 88%. Yeah, the whole crew is on battle stations, and we are doing silent running, having put the dive plane's electric support engines off, the gyro compasses off. The crew is ordered to be in silent mode.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Yeah, so here I marked the estimated position where we actually torpedoed that merchant. So I hope that later we can go back there and find the debris of it. Or 2, 3, 4. Pretty close actually. 5, 6, I don't know. Might be that there are something like 6 enemy escort ships cruising on top of our heads, searching for us. But at the moment it looks like they have no clue where we are exactly. Hey, weight loss, good evening. How are you doing? How was your Saturday? Hope you had some time to relax. Nice to have you in again. So we are continuing our yesterday's business. Still hoping that we might have sunk this guy there at least. So all engines stopped. This is what I usually don't do. Usually I just try to keep a minimum speed forward and change course and go to flank speed whenever they are passing above us. But right now I do have the gut feeling that they really lost our position. Just a few minutes ago, I don't know how long you are in the stream already, a few minutes ago one ship passed right above us and they didn't drop anything, so it seems like they still guess that we are somewhere around here, but at the moment they have no clue where exactly we are.
Aktuelle Tiefe 145 Meter.
That could change quickly. And still no report of sinking noises or something of that other ship. Come on, let's do a little bit of cinematic view. Yeah, it's nighttime up there. But the escorts are illuminating the scene. Yeah, merchants passing by right above us. Really wonder where the ship is that we did hit. So at the moment I fear that we didn't stop them. We didn't stop them. We damaged one of the ships, but or it has been sinking by now. And in the darkness we just don't see the wreckage, the debris. But that's loads of escorts. I don't remember the nationality of the ship that we did torpedo. Everything had to be done pretty quickly, so it was pretty much shot from the hip. They are zigzagging. Oh shit.
Kommandant, wir wurden von Escorts.
Oh shit, they detected us. So maybe it would
Kleine
be
Fahrt
a good
voraus.
idea to start moving.
Aktuelle Tiefe 145 Meter.
Schrankengeräusche direkt über uns.
Schneller, schneller. Bremspumpe einschalten. Ventilation einschalten.
Wasserbomben sehr nah.
Depth charts.
Tauchen auf 100 Meter.
And they know where we are.
90 Grad.
Yeah, so that's my old strategy.
140 Meter.
When they are right above us and dropping depth charges, they can't hear me, so go flank speed, turn on the pump, turn on the ventilation.
130 Meter.
Tauchen auf 120 Meter.
Aktuelle Tiefe 120 Meter. Meter.
Ventilation ausschalten. Aktuelle Tiefe 120 Meter ausschalten. Tauchen auf 150 Meter.
Meter.
Yeah, that's gonna be a bit of a chase again.
Meter. Aktuelle Tiefe 130 Meter. Kommandant, wir wurden von Estig geortet.
They are good. Yeah, they've learned a lot over the 3 years of the war.
135 Meter.
Yeah, 95% of air quality.
140 Meter.
them do.
Keine Panik. Wir machen das schon.
What's that? A machine gun? Sound of a machine gun? Was this a bug?
Wir wurden von Estig geortet. Schraubengeräusche direkt über uns.
Schneller, schneller. Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen. Tauchen auf 120 Meter.
Hey, Holiday Punch. Nice to have you in. How are you doing? Has been a while.
Aktuelle Tiefe 100.
Great to have you back in again. Okay, alright. I think buying the supporter pack is a good idea. Independently of the content, these guys, the programmers of this game, they really deserve to be supported. Yeah, that's right, we are all waiting for the Distant Coasts DLC, but they actually postponed it. And now the release date is my birthday. Let's hope that they stick to that one. 19% of strain and stress, but the discipline is still fine with 99%.
Kleine Fahrt voraus. Tauchen auf 100 Meter.
Yeah, the Asia missions, yeah, and we get the new sub,
125 Meter.
the Type 9. That's what I'm mostly excited about. And what, yeah, just in a side sentence, they mentioned that they will make the update compatible to old saves.
130 Meter.
And that's great. That's really great if they manage to do that. I still can't quite believe that this is gonna be true, but yeah, they wrote it in that last message. So if it were like that, I wouldn't have to abandon this wonderful campaign here.
Meter.
Meter.
Yeah, well, I would say there is no game which compares with this one here. Not for submarines and not for surface vessels. I tried Destroyer is the name, I think. But yeah, it's pretty basic in comparison to this one here. Feels too static somehow. You know which one I mean? Not quite sure if that's the correct name. Let me check.
Kommandant, feindliche Schiffe machen sich
Destroyer, the
gefechtsbereit.
U-Boat Hunter, yeah.
Wissen, wie es geht. Drehen wir den Spieß gegen diese Jäger um.
Kommandant, wir wurden von Estig geortet.
Yeah, exactly that one. I tried it and yeah, it is kind of nice, but yeah, as I said, very static in comparison to this one here. Not even a real campaign mode or something. Yeah, they are still firing flares up there.
Herr Kaloy,
Yeah, lots of ships in the closest vicinity.
ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
They're all around me.
Schraubengeräusche direkt über uns. Kommandant, wir wurden von Estig geortet. Wasserbomben, sehr nah.
Schneller, schneller. Tauchen auf 120 Meter. Kurs setzen.
Yeah, flank
Aktuelle
speed.
Tiefe 140 Meter.
Change course for 90 degrees and just in case, bringing the boat a little bit up. So that if we take damage, we would not get
Wasserbomben,
all that pressure. Oh shit,
130
more depth
Meter.
charges.
Wasserbomben, sehr nah.
Wow, they are dropping like hell. Was again that sound of a machine gun.
Aktuelle Tiefe 135 Meter.
Yeah, Holiday Punch, do you have a campaign running at the moment in UBOAT? Guys, keep calm. All is fine.
Meter. Wasserbomben in beträchtlicher Entfernung.
Okay, so either there is another German submarine under attack or they are completely lost about our position.
Alle Maschinen stopp.
So let's stop the engines for now and try to be completely silent. That convoy was really heavily guarded. That's far away. That's far away.
Aktuelle Tiefe 140 Meter. Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Meter.
So guys, stay silent. compressed air flasks are almost full. Yeah, we are missing 10 bars. That's... Yeah, you always need a bit of pressure of the compressed air for launching a torpedo. They are pushed out of the tubes with compressed air. So this is why we are not at 100%. Propellers right above us. Do they know that we are right underneath them?
Schraubengeräusche direkt über uns.
They are not pinging us at the moment. So I don't think that they are aware of the fact that they are just passing by right above our heads. Yeah, they didn't drop anything. I just wish they were on their way. Yeah, let's do a bit of a cinematic view again. Yeah, when we attacked, the ships were already on alert. So they were zigzagging and maybe they had already closed their bulkheads. Which would mean that they, if we gave them a hit, they might not sink right away. It's all escorts around us. And this looks like they are chasing another submarine around there. Well, possible. Firing another flare. Wow, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow, come on. It's 7 escorts chasing us. And it's still not all the escort of that convoy, and there are still guys over there. long can they do that? Problem is, time acceleration doesn't make sense in this situation. So we really have to go through that in real time. Let's give it a save. At least we survived. Yeah, new stream, new save. Some ship coming in, getting closer. Yeah, I'm doing a bit of time acceleration. And I think they're passing by. Not right above us. So here we are. Allow me to be AFK just for 1 minute. Okay, back again. I was just AFK for a minute. So here we are still. Down to 150 meters and being hunted by something like 7 escorts. Yeah, they're really getting tough. Really getting tough the later you go into the war. They really intercepted me already when I started to infiltrate the convoy. So I had to do one lucky shot from the hip. So I fired 3 torpedoes on a merchantman. 1 torpedo hit and became a dud. And 1 missed, and I fear that this single torpedo hit was not enough. Maybe they had already closed their bulkheads, so that just the petition was flooded and the rest was still alright. I had that before, that I actually did hit a merchantman, maybe not very good, and it just carried on. Well, I think I got the message that they sustained heavy damage, but at the moment I don't have the feeling that the wreck is still floating up there, and we did not hear any sinking noises, so I fear that the guy just carried on. And okay, so see, now they are stationary and just trying to fool me into that they are not there. I think if I would have my engines running, I would not be able to distinguish them. I only can hear them because I am at complete silence just by myself. So when the guys are stationary, I could get to the surface and sink them. But yeah, in the end, it's again a waste of torpedoes. Sinking escorts. Yeah, the other guys are just moving away, but there is still 1, 2, 3, 4 stationary ships, and this is definitely escorts lurking for me up there in the hope to lure me into not detecting them anymore.
Kommandant, wir wurden von Estig geortet.
one ping. Doesn't necessarily mean that they got us. Let's do a bit more time acceleration. They still must be around. I just don't hear them anymore.
Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 255 Grad.
Air quality is going down. Discipline is, well, still above 90%, 95%. Yeah, but strain and stress is going up constantly. Slow, but constantly. Now we have the moon up there. Hey, to be honest, I can't believe that they're not there anymore. They are still lurking, aren't they? So this is now not mega realistic, but well, for the sake of making things a little bit more transparent for the watcher, I now and then use this external camera tool, and well, then I could also use it sometimes now and then for my own overview. So I don't see something, but that doesn't mean anything. Could just be the darkness when they I don't know, is there really no any ship left? I can't quite believe it. But let's give it a save. And maybe slowly turn. Yeah, maybe without turning on the engines. Let's see that we just do some static. How do you call it? I mean, if you are moving and use the depth steers, it's called dynamic diving. So if I do it just by letting in water or pushing water out of the ballast tanks, would you call it static diving? Not quite sure.
90 Meter.
Yeah, no, we don't know if there is anybody up there. Still.
75 Meter.
Bit of water in the bilge, but uncritical.
Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloi.
60 Meter. Tauchen auf. 30 Meter. Meter.
So, I would like to have one of the guys for depth keeping. Mr. Arnos, please.
30 Meter.
And let's turn on the electric support for the dive planes.
Tauchen auf. 20 Meter.
Meter.
Convoy 01, that was the first one that I encountered.
20 Meter.
Tauchen auf. 10 Meter. Luftziel Seerohr besetzen. 15 Meter.
Yeah, we have moonlight out there. Could we switch to red light without stopping the silent run order?
Aktuelle Tiefe 10 Meter.
Auf Rotlicht wechseln.
Please do so. Where is the switch? There we are.
Feindliche Kriegsschiffe in Sicht. Peilung 35 Grad.
Wow.
Tauchen auf. 10 Meter.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5 Meter.
They're still sneakily waiting there, these sneaky bastards.
Meter.
Two of them.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5 Meter. Feindliche Kriegsschiffe in Sicht. Peilung 325 Grad.
Another one. Four. Not very smart what they're doing there. Wow, that one is close. That's a Soviet ship. Number 5. Number 6. That's beautifully right astern. Come on, there is 6, at least 6 warships afloat around me, just waiting for me to give away my own position. But at the moment, it looks like they have no idea that I am observing them. So it's something like 6. That guy is close. Hey, come on. I think it's something like 8 ships. Which one is it? The one with the 2 chimneys.
Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 155 Grad. A rough estimate.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Entfernung
3-5.
6
Draw
Meter.
is 3-5.
Gegnerlage 1.
Very close.
Bug rechts.
I wonder if the torpedo would even prime if I fire around that distance. How long would they stay like that?
Kommandant, wir wurden entdeckt.
Wir wissen, wie es geht. Drehen wir den Spieß gegen diese um.
Shit.
Wir wurden von Estig geortet.
Oh shit. They spotted us. Who is actually pinging us at the moment? There was this one guy astern who was so very close.
Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 155 Grad. Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum. Kommandant, feindliche Schiffe geben Alarm.
Zeit, unseren Mut zu testen.
Oh shit, oh shit.
Äußerste Kraft voraus.
Wasserbomben, sehr nah.
Retract.
Ja,
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
alles klar. Ich werde mich darum kümmern. Tauchen auf. 150 Meter.
They have spotted us.
Auf Blaulicht schalten.
Oh shit.
Kurs setzen.
This is gonna be bad. Guys, did you ever see something like that? Oh shit, this is gonna be bad.
Aktuelle Tiefe 30 Meter.
This is just too much. Pretty sure that we're not gonna make that.
Verstanden, Kommandant. Ja, Kommandant, ich kümmere mich darum. Verstanden. Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Kommandant. Alles klar, ich werde mich darum kümmern.
Frage ist berechtigt.
Der Crew ist nicht einsatzbereit. Ich bin verletzt. Wo ist der Sanitäter?
Aktuelle Tiefe 40 Meter. Meter. Tauchen auf 30 Meter. Tauchen auf 20 Meter. Tauchen auf 15 Meter.
We are sinking. The boat is dropping. Without any hope. I could blow the tanks. Let's see what.
Notauftauchen, schnell!
shit, they're dying. Mr. Schneider is dying. And down we go. Look at that. The boat is in free fall. That was just too much. Crushing depth.
Schadensbericht.
Yeah, the depth gauge is at maximum. Alright, guys, this happens occasionally. So let's see in what position we actually were when I saved the game the last time. So I really try to avoid this, to reload the game, but if something like this happens, I do. There are some tough guys who would start the whole campaign anew in such a situation, but yeah, well, I have the highest estimate for you guys who played this hardcore way. But yeah, for me, I reload. Torpedo number 4. Please maintain.
Meter. Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 155 Grad.
Let's see if we can sink that guy with one clean torpedo.
Alles klar.
Let's retract the periscope for now until we have the torpedo fit. Hey, yip yip. Good evening. Yeah, I have a good day. Hope you had a good day as well. Nice to have you in. So how long have you been watching? Have you just been witness of our defeat? So I just reloaded because, yeah, we sustained heavy damage and sank to the fathomless depths. Or, well, I would have to say unfathomable depths, I think. So, we are surrounded by, sneaky, lurking, something like, I think, 7 or 8 destroyers. And as they just don't leave us alone, I want to try to sink one of them right now. Here we are. This one.
Bohr 4, bewässern.
Let's have him fast.
Bohr 4 bewässert.
Draw it. 4. Question is whether the guy is too close, maybe. We will see. We will try.
Los! 40 Sekunden bis Torpedoeinschlag. 20 Sekunden. Ja.
Fire on board. So that's gonna sink the guy. I'm sure that this is gonna sink the guy. Give it a safe. W290.
Hüllenbruch, sie sinken. Äußerste Kraft voraus.
Kommandant, feindliche Schiffe machen sich gefechtsbereit.
Zeit, unseren Mut zu testen, Männer.
Nah, come on, this is too much of a lucky shot.
Tauchen auf. 150 Meter.
Verwirklich geordnet.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen. 15 Meter.
Okay, alright. Yeah, sorry, I was a little bit distracted. And by the way, Katsura, nice to have you in as well. Yeah, it's all a matter of, yeah, actually I spent quite a few hours on the game. So we are going down. So at least we now sank one destroyer. Or, well, actually it was a corvette, to be honest. A flower class corvette.
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
Damage control.
Wurden von SD geortet.
Okay, and the captain on command station and the bosun on command station. So we are ready again for yeah, I don't know. I always have the gut feeling that our little community here doesn't quite like DayZ so much as I do. Sorry, I just have to give these orders briefly.
Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloin.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Alles klar, ich werde mich darum kümmern.
They are right above us.
Fahrt voraus.
140 Meter.
I don't know, maybe I would do a little bit of DayZ tomorrow night or maybe Monday. Not quite sure. So have you been watching the DayZ stream?
145 Meter.
Oh, well, I interpret your question that you also like the DayZ. Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's nice feedback. I'm never sure. Sometimes I have that gut feeling that DayZ is just, yeah, for my personal fun. And the viewers don't really appreciate me doing it because most of you guys are UBOAT fans. But yeah, okay, I keep that in mind. So let me check that in one of the next days. I'm gonna do a little bit of DayZ again.
Schraubengeräusche direkt über uns. Wasserbomben.
Oh shit. Depth charges. So let's go flank. And see that we evade them. Fingers crossed. So Captain, please on command station. What's the bilge? Yeah, a bit of water in the bilge, but uncritical. But shit, we should have put up. Yeah, we should have put up the snorkel when we were up there. So we are pretty far down with our air quality, but yeah, we still have potassium filters. Yeah, no, they are right above us and they're dropping. So their hell has been let loose above us, and so it wouldn't make any difference. Turning on the pump and the ventilation, they won't hear it.
Sehr nah.
won't hear it in this hurly-burly.
Aktuelle Tiefe 150 Meter.
Yeah, that was a nice shot on these guys. But yeah, on the other hand, they were a sitting duck. So Katsura, that was what I wanted to commend. So it's not that much of a rocket science, because they were really, yeah, all these destroyers, something like 7 or 8 of them, were just sneakily floating on the water in the hope that I wouldn't recognize them and just come back to the surface and they could shoot me into oblivion. Shoot me to Kingdom Come, to put it like that, with their deck guns. But yeah, I spotted them and I just stayed at periscope depth. They didn't recognize me coming back up from the depths, and so I could shoot one single torpedo on that sitting duck. It was pretty much in front of us, so the only thing that I was worried about was that it was so close that, yeah, maybe the torpedo wouldn't prime and maybe wouldn't get the angle. But it worked. The torpedo nicely took the angle and gave it a clean hit and sank it. So let's turn off the ventilation again. Wieder.
Kommandant, feindliche Schiffe geben Alarm.
Unseren Mut zu testen, Männer.
They're still right above us.
Wasserbomben, sehr nah.
Yeah, I'm using a lot of potassium absorbers at the moment. Yeah, they must be mad about me now that I have sunk one of their companions. Strain and stress is up to 25%. So this is gonna be a tough one. Wow.
Wassereinbruch im Maschinenraum. Wassereinbruch in der Kombüse.
Diesel sind ausgefallen.
Höhenbruch in der Kombüse.
So which damages do we? Oh, come on, 7 leaks. Hey, no, guys. I don't take that. Don't give me that.
Verstanden, Kommandant. Ja, Herr Kaloy, ich kümmere mich darum.
Again.
Zu Befehl, Herr Kommandant.
Why isn't he doing it?
Alles klar, ich werde mich darum kümmern.
What about you two guys? Yes, flank, please.
Tauchen auf 50 Meter. Tauchen auf 25 Meter. Tauchen auf 25 Meter. Tauchen auf
Somebody please turn on the pump. Ah, no. So much water getting in. That can't be. Look at that. How fast? Ah, no. We're gonna reload that one. Come on, that's not fair, getting so many damages with that. I don't like that. It's the second reload within something like 10 minutes. But what shall we do? They got us a second time. That's pretty badass. What they do with us.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung. Verstanden, Kommandant.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Kommandant.
Tauchen auf 150 Meter.
So let's get down as fast as possible. Okay, guys, be back in a minute. Hi, hi.
Aktuelle Tiefe?
No, it's not. Fuck you. I was just AFK for a second. Or actually, it was maybe something like 60 seconds. But nice to have you in. Hope you are still there. Hope you didn't give up the waiting.
25 Meter.
Still there, yeah, nice. Good evening. Nice to have you in. So we got quite a beating twice. Usually I don't die that often. But yeah, this time we are in a pretty tough situation, I would say. Yeah, so welcome, fuck you. Always nice to have a new face in the stream participating in the chat. How are you doing? Hope you had a good Saturday, or still having, depending on where on the world you are. So, I'm in the Frankfurt area in Germany, and for me, the Saturday is, yeah, formally already over. Okay, so we are in the same time zone, yep. Yeah, the crew is pretty nervous by now.
95 Meter. Meter.
Yeah, I mean, that must not be bad to have an uneventful Saturday, right?
Bleibt wachsam. Aber Kante machen.
So now they are pinging me.
125 Meter.
Oh, I really wonder if we can make that. They're pretty tough. Yeah, I'm more than 3 years into the war, and things become more and more tough. Equipment of the allies becomes better, and they get more experienced to hunt us down here.
145 Meter.
One hit and you're done. Yep, exactly. That's the problem. It's just too deep around here. So there was some spot where it's more shallow. Didn't I get 300 somewhere?
50 Meter.
No. Yeah, now let's try to keep it quiet.
Auf Blaulicht.
Yeah, go to blue light. I forgot that. I think the blue light supports. Yeah, I'm doing silent running anyway, so I'm not quite sure what the blue light actually does.
145 Meter.
Yeah, crew noise is reduced even further.
Auf Blaulicht.
So please, somebody turn on the blue light. Thank you very much.
Aktuelle Tiefe 150 Meter.
There we are, 150 meters. And fingers crossed that we get away this time. They are pretty tough.
E-Motoren besetzen.
Folgen Sie mir. Verstanden, Kommandant.
Yeah, the guys are getting tired. The guys are getting tired. Mr. Adlers, please.
Geräusche direkt über uns. Kommandant, wir wurden entdeckt.
U-Boot besetzen. Zeit, unsere Mut zu testen, Männer.
Kommandant, wir wurden von Estig geortet.
Schneller, schneller. Lenzpumpe einschalten. Ventilation einschalten. Schneller, schneller.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Ja, Herr Kaloy, ich kümmere mich.
So guys, fingers crossed that they don't give us a hell as bad as they did last time.
Ich bin verletzt. Sanitäter.
Come on. How is this? I didn't even get the message that they dropped depth charges. Okay. They are searching for hidden damages. Let's hope that they don't find any.
Kommandant, wir wurden von Estig.
Come on, let's give us an intermediate save. W291. Yeah, the guys really need a nap, that's right. Or a cup of coffee.
Ventilation.
25. Strain and stress level is 25%. That's more than I had since a long time.
Lenzpumpe ausschalten. Kleine Fahrt voraus.
Are they passing by above us? Air quality is up to 75%. Yeah,
Feindliche Schiffe machen sich gefechtsbereit.
we are using a lot of
Drehen wir den Spieß gegen diese Jäger um.
we use a lot of potassium absorbers. Yeah, at least we see, seems like. Yeah, I do have. See, this guy is carrying 5 repair pods.
Sehr nah.
Oh shit.
Schraubengeräusche.
Yeah, that's my problem. I don't have enough breaths. That's my problem.
Schneller. Kurs setzen.
I don't have sufficient breaths because by some accident I actually destroyed the ones that I have. Yeah, I accidentally released my officers when I was at home port, and this kind of let the breaths vanish. I had all of them equipped with one, and it's 1943 Late February 1943. You're right about the breaths. I only have 2 officers with breaths, and that's bad. Each one should have 1. But I have all the officers equipped with spare parts, so it's 1. So 5, 10, 15. 15 repair parts. Something like 20 repair parts. Maybe I would like to get up.
100 Meter.
Schraubengeräusche. Große Gruppe. Peilung 255 Grad.
Yeah, now it doesn't matter, so somebody could turn on the pump.
Lenzpumpe einschalten.
So get the boat further up.
Geräusche direkt über uns.
Wow, that's close. But up to now we don't have any severe leaks or something. Torpedo tube is damaged, but that's not a problem at the moment. Mr. Arles is repairing that. So he's getting back to the engines, which is good.
Wasserbomben in beträchtlicher Entfernung. Aktuelle Tiefe 125 Meter.
So let's give it another save. And get sneaky again.
Tauchen auf 150 Meter.
Turn off the pump.
Lenzpumpe ausschalten.
120 Meter.
That was close. That gave us quite a beating, but yeah, just minor damage.
Schraubengeräusche direkt über uns. 110 Meter.
Yeah, I want to save my Zaunkönig. I actually did sink a destroyer just before. Have you been in FAQ when I sank the guy? I think you were, yeah. So, I mean, it's something like still 7 destroyers up there for sure. So, firing my 2 Zaunkönig wouldn't make much of a difference. I would now prefer to bore them away, wait it out, and then use my torpedoes for merchantmen and not for destroyers. Yeah, so I think you saw that I sank the guy, right? Yeah.
Aktuelle Tiefe 115 Meter.
Yeah, I just lost track of it a bit because I did this twice,
Feindliche
reloading.
Schiffe machen sich gefechtsbereit.
Das wird nicht einfach. Aber wir haben schon Schlimmeres überstanden. Lasst uns ruhig bleiben.
Wasserbomben in beträchtlicher Entfernung.
Now they are depth charging far away.
120 Meter.
So if we are lucky, there is another German submarine distracting them. Yeah, okay, so probably you didn't see that action, that last action. We went to the surface and there were all these, well, we didn't surface, but we just went to the periscope depth and saw that there was 8 escorts, 8 men of war, lurking silently on the surface without moving. And then, well, I took out one of them who was pretty right in front of me. And that was probably just when you came in, when we dived after having taken out that one corvette. And that made them mad again. Okay. Let's change course again.
135 Meter. Kommandant, wir wurden entdeckt.
Das wird nicht einfach. Aber wir haben schon Schlimmeres überstanden. Lasst uns ruhig bleiben.
Yeah, the crew is getting more and more strained and stressed with these depth charges exploding so close. Maybe I shouldn't have sunk that corvette. That makes them mad. But on the other hand, even if it's something like 7 men of war, they still might run out of depth charge sooner or later. They must be right above me. So now it wouldn't make any difference if I go flank speed to evade them. So I think the sound... Yeah, they ping us again. Mr. Hinrich, you're gonna need a cup of coffee. That didn't make much of a difference, actually. So give him a second one. And Mr. Grade, our chief engineer, also needs a cup of coffee soon. Let's give him one right away. Which colors do you mean, actually? The depth. Okay. Okay, yes, so you mean if you actually have a leak in one of the compartments and it gets completely flooded. Yeah, okay, I see what you mean. So, seems like you are playing the game since a while as well. Very nice to have you in. Trope Palace right above us again. Yeah, let's continue our zigzagging strategy. Flank speed, 90 degrees course change. Mr. Grade, please participate in the damage control. Yeah, right above us, so they would not hear our flank speed when they're just above us anyway. Yeah, that sound is them firing flares. No need to worry about that. %75% air quality. Discipline is pretty high still.
Aktuelle Tiefe 150 Meter.
Yeah, let's reduce speed again.
Meter.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't see your remark about the music. Yeah, you can do that, and this would increase discipline. Yep. So I'll give it another save. We are still alive. And that was tough. Yeah, down here at 150 meters there is water seeping in through the gaskets continuously. No, I wouldn't do that. I know that some people do it. But that would be, for me, I would feel it to be too much of a chore, but yeah, and too much of a grind. But I pretty much appreciate, and yeah, really, I'm amazed by people who play the game in that way. All the respect for them. Do you play it like that? Yeah, I know a few people who actually don't do any saving, so who really restart the campaign anew just by being dead, or yeah, never reload. Yeah, fuck you, yeah. Hi, Chainsaw. Great to have you in. I think we haven't seen a few days. Could that be? Or at least maybe you just didn't make yourself visible in the chat. So great to have you in. How are you doing? Yeah, so for me, I'm playing on almost 100% difficulty level, but there is one setting which I do not put to maximum, and that's the damage that the depth charges do. So this is the only setting actually which I don't have at maximum, so I have it at medium. So you have these 3 levels, low, medium and hard, and I play on medium for the depth charge damage. Yeah, if you remember, the comment of the developers on that is actually like they don't recommend the hard thing. Their own estimation seems to be that they think the medium is the more realistic one. Yeah, Chainsaw. Yeah. There is one very interesting news that came with that delay, and there was this side remark that they, until then, when they finally released the update, that they would implement compatibility to saved games. And that would be so great if they do it. Then they could delay it for 2 months. From my point of view, easily, perfectly fine. By the way, I might have mentioned it before, the delayed date is actually my birthday. Yeah, and so that would be so great if they would implement that. Yeah, and in this last message, they definitely said they would. Yeah, not today. But yeah, they said they would delay the publishing of that update to the 17th of April. And this actually is my birthday. So I don't know what weekday it is, and I'm not quite sure what my work schedule will be in April. But maybe we can have a little U-boat party. Yeah.
Kommandant, feindliche Schiffe geben Alarm.
Keine Panik. Konzentriert euch auf eure Aufgaben.
Yeah, guys, so the number of watchers has been going up again a bit. So welcome all of you. Great to have you in. And like I used to say, it's perfectly fine if you just lurk. Always glad. I'm just a small streamer, so having a few guys like that, that's making me perfectly happy. But let me also mention that you could make me even more perfectly happy if you would do a little bit of participation in the chat. Give a hi, tell us where you're from or what your experience with the game is. But yeah, don't feel pushed. You are completely anonymous, and if you just want to lurk, that's perfectly fine. Hey, Lord of Choco, good evening. Nice to have you back in again. Yeah, perfectly fine. Just lurk. But yeah, nice to see that you're in. Good evening. How are you doing, by the way? Yeah, down here at 150 meters we take quite a bit of water just by leakage through gaskets, probably mainly the drive shaft gasket. Yeah, this is really quite some challenging technology to make the drive shaft watertight at that depth. So what are you playing at the moment? God of War? What is it? Okay, so yeah. So where are you? I mean, in terms of the timing, where are you? In years? It sounds like you are pretty far in the campaign. To be honest, I don't remember what you said, where you are when you were playing in parallel. Propeller sound becomes louder and louder, but we are not being pinged, and maybe they have no idea where we are. It's still only 29% of strain and stress. The last depth charges all actually pushed up the stress level of the crew. Discipline is still alright. Air quality okay. So at the moment it looks quite okay what we are doing here. Okay, March 42, yep. Yeah, so still a little while to go. And yeah, so we can be pretty happy if the developers actually manage to make the update compatible to old saves. That would be so great. Yeah, talking about going to bed, I look at the time. Yeah, it's 10 to 2 and around here. So I think I'm gonna continue maybe for an hour of streaming. I'm really curious if I get out of this alive. I actually am really curious if we did sink the Merchantman in the very beginning, 2 streams ago, when we actually infiltrated the convoy. We had 1 torpedo hit, and I still have a faint hope that we might have sunk the guy. Let me check. I usually get very close. I usually try to get into, yeah, definitely below a mile for torpedo hits. Even, yeah, to something like 1,000 meters or something. You see that when you look at this. When you look at the statistics. So here my average hit distance 5 cables, half a mile. Farthest hit 3 miles, but I'm pretty sure that that was a lucky hit. Yeah, I'm a bit proud onto that torpedo accuracy as I play with high difficulty level. I have to do all the settings manually. And yeah, so I think 60% is, yeah, it does feel somehow realistic. But yeah, as you see, I always try to get very close. So on 3 miles, I would never rely on my data, which I'm feeding to the targeting computer, that I would reliably hit a target which is 3 miles away. No chance. So what about you? What's your typical distance that you try to reach for a sure shot? Which one is the TMA? Is it the one that does the meandering roster? Okay, so how do you do that? Never heard of that target motion analysis system in the game. Is it a feature that you get later in the game when you continue developing? Or is it some kind of strategy that you have to do out of game? Yeah, okay. Yeah, yep. I mean, in principle, it's a bit something like a target motion analysis that we do. I mean, we give an estimation to the course of the target, to its speed, and by this, yeah, this being fed into the targeting computer extrapolates their motion. But of course, it's pretty, yeah, pretty fuzzy. Quite a big uncertainty about that. Yeah, the course and the speed is always a bit of an estimation, and this really, yeah, how accurate your speed and course estimation of the target is finally determines how accurate your torpedo shot is. Yeah, that's what I do when I am following a convoy. I do something like hourly hydrophone checks, and each hydrophone check gives me more certainty. So like when you have 3 hydrophone checks or 4 hydrophone checks, you can, and you do it each hour, you can pretty accurately estimate the speed of the convoy and extrapolate its course. That's how I do it. I'm never good in measuring the speed of a target with the stopwatch. I really never got that done. Yeah, it's funny, this torpedo calculation system on the U-boat, it was something like a mechanical computer, I guess. Well, it was, of course. So the algorithms are pretty fixed and it's not flexible, but you could definitely call it a mechanical computer. Okay, so is it possible that they put themselves sneakily on the surface again, turning off their propellers and waiting, luring me back to the surface like they did? Yeah. Come on. Oh no. Go home, guys. Go home. I want to check that side here where I hit the merchantman. I really want to check the side, just in case I sank it and just didn't get the signature of sinking over the hydrophone. Then playing also this feature at high difficulty level, then you don't get accounted for the sinking if you don't have any proof. So the proof could be getting back to the surface and find the sinking site.
Herr Kaloi, wir wurden von Estig geortet.
So they are upon us again. High closing in. That guy is closing in from that direction. So I think when they are passing above, I would turn my course northward. Yeah, that's so amazing that they did all this with mechanical gears. Yeah, they didn't have electronics back then. Yeah, they would have had tubes. Like the transistor came in the late 60s, I think, or mid 60s. The transistor was invented, and yeah, it took the role of the tubes.
Wir wurden von Estig geortet.
And well, with tubes you couldn't really do some kind of logic electronics. Just too bulky. Yeah, but with the transistors you could, and when they finally got to the how do you call it, metal oxide transistors, yeah, they could really do the miniaturization, and now we have the microchips with millions of transistors in the logics. That's so unbelievable what happens here in my PC. That's really unfathomable. In comparison to these mechanical gears back then. Yeah, they're pinging us. But at the moment, they still sound pretty far away. Listen to the propeller noise. They're not yet above us. Let's see if we can kind of get away from here. Yeah, the crew, this is really a strain. The guys are really getting tired over time. Maybe I should send some of them to bed. So what about this?
Wir wurden von Estig geortet.
I think I would like to send Mr. Hinrich to bed. I can't send anybody to bed as long as we are on battle stations, yeah. And I don't dare to release the guys from battle station. I want to have them ready at damage control. I want to have the officers, the line officers to, yeah, supervise the action, make things happen faster.
Kommandant, feindliche Schiffe machen sich gefechtsbereit.
And actually having officers on damage control really reduces the probability that you get severe damages from depth charges. Yeah, to be honest, frankly spoken, that's not pretty realistic. But yeah, still, I like this feature of gameplay. Sometimes you have this trade-off. So there are realistic features and there are features which are nice for the gameplay. And sometimes gameplay features are not so realistic, and then developers really have to make a hard decision. Yeah, but in principle, if you're designing computer games, playability is always prior
Feindliche Schiffe machen sich
realism,
gefechtsbereit.
Keine Panik.
I would say.
Konzentriert euch auf eure Aufgabe.
And here in this game they have a beautiful trade-off between playability, player fun, and realism. But, I mean, what can I say about realism? I never traveled in a submarine. But at least I do understand a bit of the physics that's going on there. And this they do model pretty nicely. Yeah, they're firing one flare after the other up there. Yeah, so quite a few guys in the stream by now. Nice to have you in. I just see the number going up, so don't feel observed, and I'm perfectly glad if you just lurk. But, of course, like I used to say, let me mention that comments in the chat are always welcome. Of course, even a follow, of course, is very welcome. But don't feel pushed, just do as you like. If you just lurk, perfectly fine. But if you might spend a few words into the chat, that would make a happy streamer like me even more happy. Just give a hi to the community, or yeah, tell us what your experience with the game is. Yeah, like Fuck You, he was giving us quite some interesting insight into his experience with the game, or what you think about the stream. Of course, I'm always pretty curious where you're from, but on the other hand, I quite understand when people want to keep a certain level of privacy, but like for me, I would never tell you where exactly I come from, but yeah, in principle I can say that I am from Frankfurt area, live in something like 50 kilometers roughly west of Frankfurt, and one of the beautiful things about streaming is that you get into contact with people from around Germany, from neighboring countries, and from people all over the world, people being an ocean away, and this is what I appreciate so much, and this is actually why I'm always a bit curious about where you are from. Yeah, chainsaw. Sorry, far Q, far Q. Maybe that's a. I don't even know. Maybe that's on purpose. Maybe he actually uses this name so that it sounds like. Yeah, I don't know. Just speculating. Far Q. Yep. But now that you mention it, chainsaw, I have the sneaking suspicion that maybe Mr. Fuck You or Mrs. Fuck You, I don't know, actually does intend this little misunderstanding. So do you? On the other hand, I would be surprised because you had pretty good input into the chat, and my interpretation would imply kind of a more destructive mindset, but yeah, which is not there. So very glad to have you in. And please don't feel offended if my interpretation is completely wrong. No. Yeah, now we are in the patience thingy again. But at the moment, it pretty much looks like they are losing track on us. Yeah, stress is only slowly rising as long as we are not directly being depth charged. Discipline 98%, that's perfect. Yeah, we have a slight debuff for being hunted. For the depth, we have a severe debuff in discipline, and well, of course, too much work from the officers, because all the off-watch guys are assigned to the officers. And yeah, we don't have food preparation during being on battle station. And yeah, I do have a fairly experienced crew, which reduces all these negative effects by 25%. That's how it works. Air quality now below 70%. And they are firing flare after flare up there.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Okay, there is only this single unit which we hear at the moment. They are moving with high speed, but I would guess that the other ones are still around, just lurking on the surface. Propellers turned off. I mean, yeah. So now I am tempted to use the external view and check it. But maybe it's much more, well, maybe it's a bit of a spoiler if we do that. Yeah, I also pretty much love the atmosphere that they create here underwater. You can even get into the boat like that. So nobody here. Yeah, they did a good job, didn't they? And always keeping in mind that it is obviously a very small development crew. Here we are. The helmsman, the two guys at the depth steers. Yeah. Yeah, the guys look pretty sweaty. That's probably sweat of fear. I'm not quite sure. I mean, down there in the submarine, would it be hot? Searing hot in there? Or would it become terribly cold? Because, I mean, if you consider down there, the seawater is so cold, and you have all the metal, no insulation, so all the warmth would kind of be given away into the cold water. So being down here at 150 meters, I'm never sure. Would it be searing hot due to all the machinery heating it up? Or would it be terribly cold? Not quite sure about that. But yeah, for one thing, it is probably, yeah, they might be sweating from strain and maybe from fear. So there we are pinked again. And here, this is the electric engines going on slow. So the guys are pretty busy. Wow. 30,000 tons. Was it a tanker then? 35,000 tons. It was a tanker then, wasn't it? Amazing. Congratulations. This is what I would like to have as well right now. Ah, yes, you are in the Mediterranean. I think I remember that you mentioned it. And I think I remember that that I asked you whether it's worthwhile to go there, because right now I don't see any missions in the Mediterranean, but you said that it is, that you get missions there. So I think if I might finish the Arctic Convoys, maybe I'm gonna do the Strait of Gibraltar mission and actually go to the Mediterranean. I would be very curious. So what I understand from what you say is, as soon as you pass through the Strait of Gibraltar, you're gonna get access to more missions in the Mediterranean, right? And I would really be curious on that. But first I want to finish this one. The Arctic Convoys. Yeah, we have sunk a hell lot of destroyers and corvettes. One in this mission and a few, something like 4 in the last mission, but these tonnages are actually not accounted for the overall success. Okay. Yeah, that's good, because I hate these escort missions in Norway. I never did them, actually, I have to admit. Okay, so it was 5 freighters. Yeah, nice. They are directly above us again.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Yeah, and the blueprints don't help us much, right? Until we are able to upgrade to type 9. Or what can you still do with the blueprints when you are already going with the type 7C? I don't quite have it in the back of my mind what is possible still. Turn on the pump. And now see that we get the water out. Yeah, so for the next upgrade, when the Type 9 is implemented, then it might become important again.
Konzentriert euch auf eure Aufgabe.
They're so tough. I wish they would finally leave me alone.
Kleine Fahrt voraus. Lenzpumpe ausschalten.
Yeah, turn off the pump.
Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 25 Grad.
another save at that point. Yeah. I do reload. When shit hits the fan, I do reload in the middle of the mission. I did it twice. That's pretty seldom. It didn't happen for quite a while, but on that mission here we got killed twice, and so on the third try we actually were able to get away. For now, at least. Yeah, we don't know what future brings. Might still become tricky. We are not out of it. And they are pretty hard on us. Yeah, how beautiful. That's so great to have all of you guys in the stream. Very nice. In the beginning, it was pretty lowly frequented. So for something like an hour, I only had 1 or 2 people in the stream. But, well, it's Saturday, so people have their own schedule with the family or being out with friends. So, yeah, I'm glad for all of you guys dropping into the stream right now. At least around here it's pretty late night by now, so it's 2:30. But yeah, I can still do a little bit of streaming. Can sleep long tomorrow, so it's fine.
Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 20 Grad.
Hi, yep. Nice to have you back. Yeah, well, that's the bad news. I'm not streaming directly to YouTube anymore because I had these problems. And the last stream was interrupted. And I'm pretty sure that it is a problem in this double streaming. Because the information is routed across other servers and they seem to be a bit unstable. So, yeah, I actually decided then my priority is still and will always be on Twitch and our nice little community that we have here. So I am actually going to upload this stream afterwards on Twitch, but they are not with us live at the moment. I'm in contact with the guys from the technical support of my of Streamlabs, of the Streamlabs Studio software. But up to now they didn't give me, well, I got some tips again, but I have to dive into it, and up to now I just wasn't in the mood to randomly try more stuff they sent me. And particularly I was not in the mood to jeopardize our nice streams that we have here. And after the last stream, some really weird things happened. So, I just started streaming on YouTube something like a few weeks ago. And what I see is that the people on YouTube are by far not as talkative as you guys here on Twitch. And this is why I do this streaming, for communication, and so it's just fine. There was one or two guys who were pretty active also on YouTube, and I think one of them actually joined us now. At least he logged into my channel, and I'm pretty sure that it's Colin, the name. Yeah. So, but up to now he didn't turn up in the chat. So if Colin, if you're there, it would be so nice if you would just make yourself visible a bit in the chat. Yeah, maybe I'm gonna find out the problem, but yeah, what was really bad after the last problem I had when the stream suddenly was interrupted, on Twitch it was registered like I was doing continuous 2 days of streaming with no viewers, so my average viewers really went down. So there is a statistical problem now that for the recent month my average viewers are pretty far down to 3 or something because of these kind of ghost or fake periods of something like 2 days of constant streaming with no watches, and that really dragged down my average viewers, which in turn probably negatively affects my visibility on Twitch. And so yeah, this is why I wouldn't take the risk at the moment to do double streaming. Yeah, that's the nice thing, I think. I mean, the community is pretty small. Look at the numbers right now. There is something like 10 viewers, which is pretty normal for my stream here. And of course, I remember the names. And I'm not one of these kind of streamers having a few hundred or even 1,000 watches. And from a viewer's point of view, I'm also viewing streams of other streamers. And I don't like these streams where you have 3,000 or more guys in the stream. It never gives you the opportunity for some decent communication. So what I like is these streams where you have something like 100, 150, maybe 200 people. This is still alright, because most of the people just lurk. So you have a nice interaction with the other guys who are actually participating in the chat and with the streamer. But these streams with a few thousand guys in the stream, yeah, you just don't communicate anymore. So I'm perfectly happy with what we do here. With our nice little cozy community. Yeah, great to have Chainsaw with us. Hi, hi, yep. Yeah, for us here, 10 people at the same time viewing the stream, that's pretty nice. Yes, right. Lord of Choco. That's exactly the point, yeah. So the chat is just kind of scrolling through with light speed. And there is really no any kind of relation between the entries in the chat. Yeah, more guys dropping in. Hi, hi, welcome. You're completely anonymous. Great to have you in. And perfectly fine if you just watch, if you just lurk, but let me, like I used to do, mention that comments in the chat are always welcome. And even if this looks like kind of a very, community of old acquaintances, nevertheless, always nice to get some feedback, even if you would just drop a hi or tell us where you're roughly from, your country, or what your experience with the game is. All these things are always welcome, but don't feel pushed. If you just want to lurk, just lurk. Perfectly fine. So we are being hunted at the moment by still something like 7 men of war, escorts, destroyers, as well as corvettes. And we are pretty... here we are back down to 65% of air quality. The crew becomes more and more strained and stressed. They gave us quite a beating with depth charts, but right now it looks like they lost track of us, more or less. But yeah, this is, U-Boat is not a quick action arcade game. It's, you need a bit of patience to go through it. But this is rewarded with a wonderful immersion, I would say. If you listen to the propeller sounds, it sounds like they're coming in closer. Hydrophone. Okay, there is one guy moving away. That's good. But there might still be others lurking. That's their trick. They tried it several times, just putting themselves with engines turned off at a full stop on the surface, just lurking and waiting for us to surface. Yeah, because you just can't detect them anymore with the hydrophone when they're not making any sound, when they're not moving. So then their hope is that we might just naively get back to the surface and they could just wreck us with their deck guns. And I'm still keen on checking this area here because I'm still hoping that I might have sunk one of the merchantmen. I think not, but maybe I have. So we have to wait until all these escorts chasing us retreat, and then I want to go back to the surface and check that area for debris. Yeah, right. That's it. Same for me. I mean, on the one hand, I love the history and the technology. I'm pretty much fascinated by this submarine technology. Like, imagine it's hybrid. Diesel engine with batteries, so that's pretty much state of the art nowadays. And back then they already used it. And if you imagine how bad the batteries actually were that they had back then. Yeah, so that's the technology which fascinates me. And the slow enough pace. So it's a game where you have these times when things actually get action-packed, but other times when you just have time for a little chat. Just a bit of water in the bilge, completely uncritical. Still. Yeah, you see, sometimes the crewmates are buggy, but mostly they're working all right. Let's give it another save at the moment. Everything looks all right. We are slowly moving away from those destroyers.
Herr Kaloy,
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Schraubengeräusche. Große Gruppe. Peilung 215 Grad.
There's still this guy. Let's give it an X. Yeah, I really wonder whether I should sneakily get back to periscope depth and check the guys. I think I will. Let's give it a save. And then let's see that we get back to the surface. Well, not to the surface, but to periscope depth and check the surrounding. I would expect that there is still destroyers lurking there, having just turned off their engines and silently awaiting us to get back to the surface. Yeah, but I guess they did that before. They actually did that before. So, over time, the escorts are getting smarter and smarter, and these guys here are kind of sneaky bastards. And I would pretty much expect that they are still waiting. They are up there with their engines turned off, propellers stopped, so that I can't hear them, hoping to kind of fool me with that into getting back to the surface. But so guys, I have to be AFK just for 1 minute. see that we decently get out of this. Would be that distance, 2 miles.
Aktuelle Tiefe 45 Meter.
And the moon is up, so we might be able to spot them.
Tauchen auf 20 Meter.
30 Meter.
Alle Maschinen stoppen.
So, Mr. Grade, please make sure
20 Meter.
Please make sure that we don't breach the surface. Okay, I don't know. Do you have words like that? Not in this chat, right? I mean, there might be certain words which you would suppress, but okay, there was the F word once mentioned somewhere up there. And maybe that was put into this star representation. But I think that was the only one, or only occasion that in this chat there was some indecent speech. I hope.
Tauchen auf 10 Meter. Verstanden, Herr Kommandant. Ziel Zero besetzen.
Aktuelle Tiefe 15 Meter.
Tauchen auf 10 Meter.
5 Meter.
All right, let's see if there is any contact around.
Zehn Meter.
Yeah, chainsaw, sorry. I just finished my roll. Yeah, but thanks for the hint. You're probably right. But it's over now. So I have finished my little snack.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5 Meter.
Yeah, but to be frank about that, I'm always happy if I get these kind of feedbacks. Yesterday night it was probably a bit, even a bit tougher because then I had crisps. And yeah, I always feel a bit sorry about molesting you with these noises, but yeah. Sometimes at late night I get this urge to have a little snack. So this time it was just a roll, so that's done quickly. And if it's crisps, it's a bit more something. Yeah, I am. Whom do you mean, me or Yippee Yap? Yeah, yes, that's why I asked. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought so. Yeah. Hey, hey, no, just ask. I mean, there is this saying, at least in German, there are no stupid questions, only stupid answers. And that's kind of true. It's kind of an, yeah, old school teacher saying, but it's still true. Yeah, chainsaw, I didn't know that it does, but I kind of, yeah, appreciate that. Makes sense to have it. So I think it was exactly when, yeah, chainsaw, when you were discussing the pronunciation of our friend Far Q. He actually never commented on that, how his name actually was meant. So Far Q, are you still in? Would be great just to see if you are still joining us. Yeah, but Chainsaw, I think your theory is right. I'm pretty sure it is. I would guess the name is kind of a joke. But right now it pretty much looks like there is no any ship lurking. Hey, this is so great. The influence of the waves. So we just barely poke the observation periscope out of the water. And yeah, we really have to handle the waves. And that feels so great. It reminds me of the movie Das Boot, in this scene when the captain was swiveling around with the periscope, and then suddenly the waves moved away and the destroyer was just coming in straight at them. Okay. I'm a bit surprised that I don't see any enemies anymore. I thought they would still be somewhere around. But now it pretty much looks like they have retreated. So, guys, is it safe to get back to the surface? Yeah, Chainsaw, which one Which one do you mean? So let's give it a save, and then now the movie. Ah, okay. Yep. Yeah. I've been watching it something like a year ago again, but I should do it again. It's so great. Yes, exactly. That is exactly the scene that I mean. Like you have it in the movie, yeah. Yes, yeah. So, what else could we do right now? Let's get back to the surface.
Kurs setzen.
Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloy.
Yeah, let's go deck a wash for now.
Funkmesssignale geortet.
Oh shit.
110 Grad.
210 degrees
Wechsel.
would be somewhere over there. Ah, come on.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloy? Herr Kaloy?
Radar contact. Radar contact up there. Stationary. So I think we should go back.
Tauchen auf 10 Meter. Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
There are still ships lurking. Our passive radar detector actually checked that they are still there.
Auf E-Motoren wechseln.
Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 115 Grad. 10 Meter. Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 110 Grad.
Alright. So, Chainsaw. Let's see. Maybe I'm gonna do a stream tomorrow night. Not quite sure yet, but maybe I will. So my work schedule will be a little bit kind of different for the next 2 weeks. So might be that I can sleep a little bit longer on Monday, allowing me to do a nice little late night stream on Saturday night. So, Lord of Choco, what is the bug that you did find? Okay. Oh yeah, that's not good. Haven't seen that. Actually, a few weeks ago I did a port attack in Canada on a Canadian port, and I did actually sink 3 ships, and I did only get accounted for 1 because the other ones in shallow water never did sink completely, and so I didn't get the kill. That was pretty annoying. Also kind of a bug, I would say.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Zu Befehl, Herr Kommandant. Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Verstanden, Herr Kommandant.
Tauchen auf 20 Meter. Tauchen auf 10 Meter.
Yeah, let's stick to the 10 meters and get the snorkel up.
Herr Kaloin.
Get the snorkel up. Wow, it's so dark. Where's the moon? I thought the moon would still be around. But it is not, obviously. Looks like the moon has set already.
Tauchen auf 10 Meter.
Raubengeräusch. Peilung 195 Grad. Herr Kaloin.
Okay, now we are getting fresh air in via the snorkel.
Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 195 Grad. 5 Meter.
Give it another save. Alright, there we are. So let's
Ich kümmere mich darum.
put the snorkel back down.
Auf E-Motoren wechseln.
And change course. I really want to check that area. But yeah, looks like there are still enemies around. There is something. More or less dead ahead. Probably one of the destroyers, one of these sneaky bastards. Still waiting for us to turn up.
Korvette, 340 Grad.
So she's still there. Ah, come on, it's not worthwhile,
Alle Maschinen stopp.
is it?
Tauchen auf 100 Meter.
Aktuelle Tiefe 20 Meter. Meter. 60 Meter. Aktuelle Tiefe 80 Meter. Peilung 275 Grad.
Tauchen auf 15 Meter.
70 Meter. 20 Meter.
Tauchen auf 10 Meter.
Yeah, yippee up. Have a good night. Was a pleasure to have you back in. And yeah, all the best luck for your freshman period. Yeah, it's a good start into high school. Not quite sure when you're gonna start, and you kind of announced that it might be a bit kind of a problem to join the streams, the chats, but yeah, no problem. If you just drop in whenever you can, I'm pretty happy. So have a good time, have a good start. You already told me, but yeah, I fear I don't quite remember. When do you start? Next week already? Okay, well, then it's still...
5 Meter.
We will still have you with us for a while then. Alright, only August. Almost half a year. Yeah, but still. Anyway, yeah, right. Bye-bye, and have a good night. Looking forward to see you in the next days. Yeah, why not putting up the snorkel again and just lurking here and waiting? Okay, the snorkel is applied. Probably have to get
Tauchen auf 5 Meter.
Mr. Grader, please make sure that we are good in depth keeping.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
They're just not moving. Okay, alright guys, now it's 3 o'clock, 3:15 around here. And I have to get to bed as well. So, it was a pleasure to have you in. Thanks a lot for joining. Yippee yep. You already just went to bed, like I'm going to do right now. Lord of Choco. If you're still there, it was a pleasure to have you back in again. Same for you, Chainsaw. Always great to have you. And in the very beginning, we also had weight loss, but I think you probably went to sleep meanwhile. And not wet, just cold, didn't turn up. Yeah, yesterday he mentioned that he actually caught a bad cold, a flu. So I hope that you're getting better. Maybe you just watch this stream afterwards. So get well soon and see you guys. It was a great late night stream again.